After what seems like a lengthy spell, Xbox have provided us with some good news for this week and giving us more of an insight onto what to expect with our Xbox Game Pass subscription for May and beyond. Today, Team Green have given us 20 brand new games that will be landing onto Xbox Game Pass very soon, and personally, I cannot wait to rip and tear this month into Doom the Dark Ages. So with that out of the way, my name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive right into the Xbox Game Pass games coming your way. First up and landing onto the service today is none other than the excellent indie known as DREDGE. This is easily one of my top 10 indie games of the last decade, and you definitely need to play it today if you get the chance. This Lovecraftian fishing adventure combines chilling horror elements with addictive exploration and resource management. By day, you'll be exploring the mysterious archipelago, upgrading your boat and hauling in some deep sea catches. By night though, the horrors lurking beneath the waves do awaken, forcing you to navigate dangerous waters and unravel an ominous mystery. Its mix of relaxing daytime gameplay and intense night terrors makes for such a gripping one-of-a-kind experience. If there is one indie game that you need to try out in 2025, it really is DREDGE, and again, it comes to Xbox Game Pass today. This next game is a pretty huge one for the Xbox Game Pass library, and that is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is without a doubt one of the most exciting and immersive anime-based games to date. Whether you're a lifelong Dragon Ball fan or a newcomer just looking to dive into the action-packed universe, this game really offers an unforgettable journey through time, space, and pure Super Saiyan hype. From the moment you are creating your own character, you are thrown into a really thrilling and epic storyline that reimagines the most legendary moments of the widely popular anime. Of course though, like the previous entry, the combat system here is where it truly shines. It's very fast, fluid, and full of flash, with cinematic special moves that feel pulled straight from the anime. If you want to dive in and take on your Super Saiyan form, you can do when this lands onto Xbox Game Pass on the 7th of May. Revenge of the Savage Planet is landing onto the service as a day one release onto Xbox Game Pass on the 8th of May, and from early previews and reviews, it's looking like a superb entry into this awesome franchise. As you can see on screen right now, the game is taking a different approach compared to the prequel, and is now a fully fledged third-person action-adventure game that still retains that quirky and over-the-top corporate satire that we know and love. The devs look to have poured their heart and soul into this new project, and it's about 4 times larger than the original entry, and includes a ton of new power-ups and weapons, and also creatures for us to fight. It's so great to see another entry, and the fact that you can play this entirely in couch or online co-op is another massive addition to the ever-growing co-op space. If you want to play the game early though, you can do so with the Deluxe Edition upgrade as part of your Game Pass subscription, and you can purchase that in the Xbox Store, and you can start playing right now. On the very same day, we actually have a brand new edition in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed, and I have to say, it's a very mixed entry into the franchise, and one that I personally didn't really like. I will preface this though by saying that this was made by Outright Games, who are primarily known for making kids games like Paw Patrol World and so much more, so you can kind of expect a really simplistic gameplay loop and a very straightforward narrative. As you can see though, the gameplay is nothing special, but it has some solid and nice aspects to it, and overall it's a fairly competent 3D action platformer, and to be honest, if you have a younger family member, it's a pretty good one to get them playing. I think this one was about 10 hours or so long, and it's not a massively long experience, but it still gives you a fairly fun experience over this time frame, and to be honest, the art style along with the music really do keep in line with the TV shows. If you do want to try this one out though and grab a slice of pizza, it lands on the 8th of May for all the Xbox consoles. I am so thrilled to see this next game coming back to the Xbox Game Pass library, especially as I love that Warhammer universe just so much. Vermintide 2 is easily one of the best multiplayer co-op games available to this day, and I would say for me personally, it hits that Left 4 Dead nail on the head, especially with the hordes and the insane and visceral combat. This is a game really built for co-op mayhem. You and up to 3 friends will be able to pick from a group of gritty, battle-hardened heroes and dive headfirst into swarms of Skaven and also the chaotic forces that never seem to let up. Each character here also feels very unique, and the way that they grow through their own careers and loot means things are fresh even after dozens of hours. The combat is so satisfying, it's meaty, weighty, and just the right amount of chaotic. Whether you're a veteran of the Warhammer universe or just totally new to it, you'll find yourself quickly addicted to the rhythm of hack, dodge, block, and repeat. I cannot recommend it enough, and you have to dive into it when it comes to the Xbox Game Pass library on the 13th of May. The time to rip and tear is almost upon us, and I think it's safe to say that Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be one of the biggest releases of 2025. Every single bit of gameplay we've seen so far has given us a bigger glimpse at a sort of semi-open world arenas that we can expect to dive into, alongside the combat, which has definitely undergone a very large change. Instead of the flashy parkour and required need to conserve your ammo like Doom Eternal, it looks as though Doom: The Dark Ages has taken a more original approach to the franchise, and actually taken us back to the good old days of what made the original Doom just so great. The movement is very weighty here and makes us feel like a complete tank. The combat is more about timing and parrying, and there's no more need to conserve your ammo. It looks fantastic, and id Software have always done wonders with the franchise since the reboot back in 2016. Unfortunately, I've not been able to acquire a review code for this one, but I will have my review out for it shortly after its launch. Kulebra: The Souls of Limbo was shown off at the Future Games Showcase last week, and we actually haven't heard anything on this new indie in over a year. However, it is finally coming to Xbox Game Pass this May on the 16th. If you haven't seen the game before, you essentially play as a dearly departed snake in the afterlife, where the same day keeps repeating for the souls that are lost here. It will be up to you to figure out what their issues are and help them move on, changing how events take place from here. From the colours to the characters, this wonderful and fantastic journey through Limbo is woven with tons of humour and light-hearted fun, and will include a ton of mysteries, puzzles, and places for us to discover. These sorts of indie experiences always have the potential to turn into hidden gems on the Xbox Game Pass library, so personally I'd be very interested to see how this new release actually plays when it arrives onto Xbox next week. We have count that, two simulator games arriving on the 20th of May, and if you want to be a police officer or a firefighter, then these have you covered. The first dropping is Firefighting Simulator: The Squad, and this entry lets you experience what it means to fight fires up close as an active part of a major US city's firefighting crew. Together with up to 3 friends in the co-op multiplayer, or if you just want to dive into the single player mode, you will take on a variety of different missions and tackle some huge blazes as the calls keep coming in. I have done a little bit of research on my side, as I haven't actually had a chance to play this game myself, but many users over on Steam, including some in real life firefighters, have said this is a pretty accurate game and has a surprising amount of depth that makes it so close to the reality. Then, as I mentioned, we also have Police Simulator: Patrol Officers, and this one lets you join the police force of a fictitious American city called Brighton. You will essentially start with citing violations and giving out some parking tickets, then you'll work your way towards shouldering some more responsibilities. What's cool though about this entry is that it includes a dynamic traffic system that organically creates the traffic flow and car accidents, as well as emergency situations that can randomly pop up during your shift. You'll have to be ready to react though at a moment's notice, and make sure that you keep the people of this city very safe. Again, this one has seen some pretty positive reviews over on Steam, with many calling this the best police sim ever, even though it's slightly arcadey and lacks some content. Again, both of these sims do land onto Xbox Game Pass on the 20th of May. To a T is coming from the creator of Katamari Damacy, so you know this is going to be an absolutely chaotic and outrageously weird experience when it comes to Xbox Game Pass as a day one title this May. It's described as a narrative adventure game, and To a T follows Teen as they discover some sort of mysterious ability due to their T-pose posture, and must uncover its origins while exploring the town and going to school. Interactions such as opening Teen's mouth to eat food or drink act as mini-games for us to engage with, alongside the ability to be able to customize Teen with a variety of different outfits. This one is actually really heavily worked in partnership with the Able Gamers organization, and the game really is an allegory about being disabled. Takahashi really does work wonders with these sort of different experiences, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if he's made another gem into a T. To be honest, I really was not expecting Gears of War to be announced prior to the release of Gears of War E-Day, but here we are, and Xbox have announced as of yesterday that Gears of War Reloaded is coming out this August and will be available day one on Xbox Game Pass alongside other platforms. This upgraded Gears is featuring 4K resolution, up to 120 FPS support, and the ultimate multiplayer experience with cross-progression and cross-play across all platforms, and is honestly looking like the definitive way to experience the game that started it all. We will gain immediate access to all post-launch downloadable content at no additional cost. That includes the bonus campaign act, all multiplayer maps and modes, and a full roster of classic characters and cosmetics unlockable through progression. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy to see this cool new upgrade, but personally I'm still really mixed at seeing one of these exclusive IPs being made available to a competitor. It's a really weird one for sure, and you'll have to let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Spray Paint Simulator is finally launching this May. We still don't have a fixed release date for this one, but it will be coming to the service towards the end part of the month. This one though takes place in the fictional town of Splatterville, and it's up to you to give this town an overall makeover. This looks to be a very relaxing and totally satisfying painting simulator that does invite us to start our own painting business, starting from the ground up. If this game reminds you of Power Wash Simulator, then you wouldn't be amiss, as honestly I thought exactly the same thing when I saw the game from the trailers. Of course, in true simulator fashion though, you can upgrade your business, tools and so much more and take on a variety of different jobs. The devs have promised an eclectic group of clients that are all in dire need of our services, and to be honest, it looks like a pretty fun and chill experience. If you love the World of Warcraft franchise alongside strategy titles, then get ready as Against the Storm is finally coming to Xbox consoles on the 26th of June, and it will be landing day one into Xbox Game Pass. Now, this game is already available on PC Game Pass, as it was actually a PC exclusive when it launched back in 2023, and it did so to critical acclaim and was one of the highest rated games of that year. Set in a dark fantasy world played by apocalyptic rains, Against the Storm sees you leading harpies, foxes, lizards, humans and beavers to reclaim the wilderness and rebuild their civilization. Interestingly though, Against the Storm features a roguelike gameplay loop, which sees your runs end if your settlements succumb to the Blightstorm. However, all of your resources, upgrades and experience all carry over into your next run, giving you a much needed boost to help your critter-filled civilization prosper once again. If you fancy it and you want to dive into this new city builder experience, it comes to all the Xbox consoles on the 26th of June. Rematch is one of those games that you really need to get excited for, and it's pretty safe to assume at this point that the devs behind Sifu have got another gem on their hands. Yes, that's right, the devs behind a Taekwondo-inspired game are actually making a football game, and I'm as surprised as you are. Rematch though looks to transform the game that we all know and love with some very unique mechanics and a 5 vs 5 online setting. Previews so far have been swirling around for this game since the launch date got announced for this June, and all the previews so far have been incredibly positive for this new launch. The game still gives me a galactic football and Shaolin soccer sort of vibe in the best way possible, and I even got to play it myself as part of a press preview last month. It is fantastic from what I've played so far, the controls are insanely tight, and I cannot wait to play more when it comes to Xbox Game Pass as a day one launch title this June. One game that is for all of you who like survival games mixed with something psychological is none other than The Alters. We have finally received a release date for this new IP after the last couple of delays, and it is coming out this June. Essentially in this one, your character has the unique ability to create alters, which are alternate versions of themselves, each embodying a different life path. These alters will bring distinct skills and perspectives to your own team, helping you solve puzzles, gather resources, and overcome some environmental hazards. Obviously though, upon doing this, there is a cost to it. The more you rely on your alters, the greater the psychological strain on your own character. It looks utterly fantastic from the gameplay and previews, and I'm hoping that the extra time we've seen for this delay has really polished it into a great experience. I have to say, Wuchang Fallen Feathers has been mentioned on this channel quite often, and I'm so happy to mention that it got a release date trailer update over the past couple of weeks, and it is coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass on the 24th of July. If you're unfamiliar though, this one is a Souls-like that casts players as Wuchang, who's a mysterious warrior afflicted by a horrific feather disease. It is also set in the period of the late Ming Dynasty. It has very much been described as a beautifully haunting hardcore action RPG, and to me it really gives me similar vibes to Wo Long when that was on Xbox Game Pass a couple of years ago now. Surprisingly enough though, this game is being made by a team of only 5 core members, and from early previews it looks as though they've hit the nail on the head, especially with that Souls-like formula. Visually it looks encapsulating, and the devs have said that they've made a hub-based exploration system so we can go in different multiple routes, creating a more varied experience. We do also have a few games dropping onto the Xbox Game Pass standard tier on the 7th of May, and first up we have the excellent Dungeons of Hinterberg. This one is a fantastic indie that took us to the Austrian Alps as you delve into dungeons and ultimately become the Master Slayer. The story is great, the art style is so unique and wonderful, and the game has seen some incredible free updates to keep it so alive and very fresh. It's one that I highly recommend, especially for you Xbox Game Pass standard members. Then we have a pretty mixed title by some out there, but one that I actually quite enjoyed, and that's Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. This one puts you in the shoes of Nor, who is an elite member of the Coalition army, joined by Enki, her fox-like companion, as you battle and get vengeance against the gods. This one is a pretty decent Souls-like inspired action RPG, and you can tell it has the DNA from Ashen, which was the developer's previous game prior to this one. I have a review up on the channel if you want to check it out, but I do recommend it if you have this game on Game Pass Standard. The final standard tier edition is Metal Slug Tactics, and this one is one tactical RPG that you want to dive into if you haven't had the chance to do so. This one was actually a really cool change to the traditional Metal Slug we all know and love, but kept almost all the reasons we loved the original series. From iconic characters, nostalgic weapons, and a brand new exciting campaign against the Rebel army, it really stood out from the crowd upon its launch last year. It's one that I do recommend if you're a strategy fan or want that nostalgia hit, but I would certainly avoid it if you don't like turn-based games, as it really leans heavily into that sort of aspect. Now, I do have some exciting bonus news for you today as well. Almost 2 years ago now, Xbox studio inXile Entertainment introduced Clockwork Revolution to the world at the 2023 Xbox Game Showcase, and despite some small updates, we've not really seen much of the Xbox first-party title since its reveal. This week though, the team has reminded us all about what's being crafted over at the Californian studio, and we're hoping this leads to another showcase appearance rather soon. Over on social media, inXile has given us a brief refresher on the in-development project. The Xbox studio has just over 100 people working on the game, and it's being led by Wasteland creator Brian Fargo, alongside former Fallout dev Jason Anderson and many others. Unfortunately, we still haven't seen any more footage of this game since its reveal back in 2023, but at least it sounds like things are still trucking along over at inXile. Here's hoping that some extended gameplay from Clockwork Revolution arrives pretty soon. Oh, and I would also love to see a release date as well. Unfortunately, with it being a brand new month for Xbox Game Pass, we are unfortunately losing a few games on the 15th of May. There are 5 games leaving at present, so make sure you finish them or purchase them using your Xbox Game Pass discount to keep them in your library forever. The following games leaving are as follows: Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, Chants of Sennar, Dune Spice Wars, Haunty, and The Big Con. To be honest, these are some absolutely cracking indie games that are leaving the service, so hopefully we see some more awesome indies being added later this year. So, what is your most anticipated Game Pass game coming soon? Let me know down below, and what do you think about Gears of War going over to PlayStation? Remember to like and subscribe if you love Xbox content, as I do upload new content every single day. Whilst here though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I covered the 12 brand new Xbox and Game Pass games coming out this week, and if any of them are worth your time and money.